Hey there, welcome to the English Talk community. I'm Ben, and I'm really glad you're here. If you're looking for a safe, friendly space to practice English, improve your speaking, and feel more confident every single day, you're in the right place. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you study a lot of English? You understand videos, podcasts, even movies? But when it's time to speak, your mind just goes blank. Maybe you hesitate, you search for words, or you feel nervous even with simple conversations. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. So many learners feel exactly the same. And here's the good news. It's not your fault. You're not broken. You don't need more textbooks or grammar charts. What you really need are better habits. Yes, habits. The small things you do every day without thinking too much. Just like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. You don't need to think about it anymore. You just do it. What if your English could feel like that? What if speaking naturally, fluently, and confidently became just another part of your day? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this series. Over the next few episodes, I'm going to show you 7 simple, powerful habits that can transform the way you speak English. These are not complicated exercises. You don't need hours of study. You don't even need a speaking partner. You just need 10 to 15 minutes a day and a little bit of consistency. Now, I know, you've probably heard the usual advice before. Shadow native speakers. Repeat after the video. Speak out loud. Those are great tips. But today, I want to give you something different. Something fresh. Something that works not just for learning words, but for building real fluency. That's what we're aiming for here. Fluency. That smooth, natural feeling when English just flows from your mouth. And trust me, you can get there. Before we dive in, I want to explain one important idea. Fluency is not about being perfect. It's not about having a native accent or never making a mistake. No. Fluency is about being comfortable, about being able to express your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, without fear. Even if you make a small mistake, who cares? You keep going, you keep talking. That's real communication. And here's another secret. You don't become fluent just by learning more vocabulary or grammar. You become fluent by using what you already know, again and again, in real situations, with real emotion and real practice. Fluency is not a result. It's a process. And the more you enjoy that process, the faster your confidence grows. That's why I'm excited to share these 7 habits with you. Because they're not only effective, they're enjoyable. You'll speak more, think more, and use more English without pressure. And little by little, your English will start to feel more natural, more automatic, more you. So let me give you a quick overview of what's coming. You're going to learn how to retell short stories in your own words, even if you're a beginner. Prepare short, natural answers for real-life conversations. React to videos or quotes with your thoughts, just like you would with a friend. Collect useful phrases that you can use again and again in daily life. Repeat your ideas in different ways to build flexibility and confidence. Copy small scenes from movies to sound more natural and expressive. And imagine real situations so you're mentally ready before they happen. Each habit is like a small tool. Alone, they're useful. But together, they make you strong. They create the foundation for fluent, confident English. And the best part? You can do them all from home, at your own pace, in just a few minutes per day. Now, I want you to make a small decision with me. Right now. Decide that for the next few days, you're going to show up. You're going to listen, try, and practice. Just a little each day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. I'll be here with you, guiding you step by step, like a coach, like a friend. So, are you ready? Are you open to trying something new? Because if you are, I truly believe this can be the start of something powerful for your English. Not just better vocabulary or grammar, but real fluency, real confidence, real progress. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need to wait for a teacher, or a course, or a trip to another country. Everything you need to improve your English is already in you. You just need the right approach. And that's what this series is about. One last thing before we begin. If anything you hear today makes sense to you, if it feels helpful or encouraging, take a second to like this video or follow our podcast. It helps more people find this content, and it lets me know that you're with me, that we're doing this together. Okay, now take a breath. Relax your shoulders. Smile a little. You're here. You've already started. And that's amazing. Let's take the first step together in the next episode, where I'll show you the first habit and how it can help you start speaking English more fluently in just a few minutes a day. But for now, I just want you to remember this. Fluency is not something you wait for. It's something you build, and I believe you're already on the right path. Now, I know that sounds like a big term, right? But don't worry, I'm going to explain exactly what it means and how you can use it starting today. Let's break it down. Micro means small. Retelling means telling something again, usually in your own words. So, micro-retelling simply means you watch or listen to something short in English, and then you try to tell that story again, in your own words, using simple English. That's it. No complicated grammar. No pressure to remember every word. Just your version of the story, in a way that feels natural to you. Now, why is this so powerful? Because when you do this, you're not just watching English, you're using it. And using the language is what really trains your brain to become fluent. You're connecting ideas, you're speaking actively, and you're building the muscle memory to communicate more naturally. Let me show you how to do it. Step 1. Choose something short to watch or listen to. It could be a 1-minute video on YouTube, a funny moment from a cartoon, a news clip, or even a short part of a podcast. The key is keep it short, no more than 2 minutes. That's enough. Watch it carefully. Pay attention to what's happening. Try to understand the main idea. Not every single word, just the main story. You don't need subtitles. You don't need to pause every second. Just focus on the message. Step 2. Close the video or pause the audio. Stop watching. Now, take a moment and ask yourself, what happened? And answer that question out loud, in your own words, as if you're telling a friend. You can use short sentences, simple words. You don't need to sound perfect. In fact, that's the beauty of this habit. You get to use the English you already know. Let's try it together. Imagine you watched a short video. In the video, a cat is walking in a living room. It sees a cardboard box. The cat jumps into the box, then pokes its head out and looks happy. Now, let's retell the story. You could say, the cat saw a box. It jumped in. It looked happy. That's it. That's micro-retelling. You didn't memorize. You didn't translate. You just spoke. And every time you do this, you're training your brain to produce English faster, with less hesitation. Now, let's talk about why this helps your fluency so much. First, it helps you remember vocabulary in a natural way. You're not just reading words. You're using them in context, in real situations. Second, it helps you get comfortable with speaking. No pressure, no audience, just you, talking out loud in your room or while walking or even while cooking. Speaking becomes normal. Easy. Third, it helps you think in English. You're not trying to translate from your first language. You're just seeing a story and responding to it, like you would in real life. And fourth, it helps you build confidence. Because the more you speak, even in short sentences, the more you realize, hey, I can do this. Let's do one more example. You watch a short video of a person making pancakes. First, they mix the ingredients in a bowl. Then they pour the batter into a hot pan. After a few minutes, they flip the pancake. It looks golden and delicious. Now pause. Close the video. Say what happened. You might say, they mixed the ingredients. They cooked it in a pan. They made pancakes. Again, simple, short, and real. And the more you do this, the better you'll get. You don't need to retell the story exactly. You don't need to worry about perfect grammar. You just need to speak. Speak the idea. Speak the action. Speak what you saw or heard. If you want to take it one step further, you can record yourself. Just use your phone. Listen back later and hear how you sound. Are you clear? Do you feel confident? Do you want to add more detail next time? That's how you grow. Now, you might be wondering, how often should I do this? And my answer is simple. Just 5 minutes a day. That's all it takes. Choose one short video, listen carefully, and then speak. One small habit. One big result over time. If you keep doing this for a week, you'll notice something amazing. You'll start using new words naturally. You'll speak more smoothly. You'll feel less nervous when talking. Because now, your brain is used to speaking. It doesn't feel like a test anymore. It feels normal. And here's a tip. You can do micro-retelling anywhere. In your bedroom, in the kitchen while cooking, in the shower, while walking to work or school. Just watch or listen to something short. Then speak. If you're really short on time, you don't even need a video. Just think of a story from your day. What did you do this morning? What did you eat? What happened at work? And then say it out loud in English. You're not just remembering, you're building fluency. Let's quickly review how to do micro-retelling. Watch or listen to something short in English. Understand the main idea. Stop the video. Retell the story in your own words, out loud. Keep it simple. Don't stress. Repeat this every day for 5 minutes. That's it. Easy, right? So now I want to challenge you. Today, choose one short video in English. Watch it once or twice, then stop and tell the story back in your own words. Just 2 to 3 sentences. Keep it simple. Keep it real. And if you want to go further, write it down or record yourself. Remember, fluency is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things every day. And micro-retelling is one of those things. You're doing great. You're building your fluency, one small habit at a time. I'll see you in the next episode, where I'll show you another simple strategy that will help you speak more confidently in real-life conversations. Keep going, keep speaking, and as always, keep believing in yourself. You're doing great so far, and I'm proud of you for taking this journey with me. Let's keep going, because now it's time for Habit 2. Another simple yet powerful technique that helps your brain absorb English more deeply and naturally. I call this habit visual repetition. You might be thinking, repetition? That sounds boring. But trust me, this is different. This is not about repeating words like a robot or memorizing grammar rules. This is about building strong, clear connections in your mind by seeing and hearing English at the same time. It's active, it's engaging, and yes, it's even fun. Let me show you what I mean. You've probably heard that repetition helps with memory. That's true, but the type of repetition matters. If you're just reading the same sentence over and over or repeating it without understanding, your brain doesn't learn much. But if you repeat while seeing the scene, understanding the action, and hearing the words in context, it becomes real. That's what visual repetition does. Here's how it works. Step 1. Choose a very short video clip, just like you did in Habit 1. It could be from a TV show, a movie, a video blog, or anything else in English. Just make sure it's short, maybe 15 to 30 seconds. You want to focus, not get overwhelmed. Now watch the clip several times, but each time, change your focus. The first time, just watch and enjoy it. Don't worry about understanding every word. Try to get the feeling, the emotion, the action. The second time, turn on English subtitles. This helps you connect the sounds to the words. You're seeing and hearing at the same time, and your brain begins to match them naturally. The third time, say the words with the speaker. Not perfectly, just try. You're now speaking along, even if it's just a little. This is called shadowing, and it's a fantastic way to develop rhythm and pronunciation. Then, watch it again, without subtitles this time. Can you understand more now? Probably yes. You'll start recognizing sounds that were confusing the first time. And when you understand better, your confidence goes up. That's visual repetition. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you're watching a short scene from a sitcom. In the scene, two friends are talking in a coffee shop. One says, "You're not going to believe what just happened." The other replies, "Try me." And then the first person tells a funny story. You can do your visual repetition with just this short exchange. First, watch it once. What's the mood? Are they serious? Are they laughing? Do they look surprised? Then watch again with subtitles. Now you see, you're not going to believe what just happened. That phrase is useful. It's how native speakers introduce a story. Repeat the sentence out loud. Try to match the tone. Notice how they don't say, "You are not going to believe." They say, "You're not gonna." That's natural spoken English. Now pause. Say it again yourself. You're not gonna believe what just happened. Feels good, right? You don't need to memorize the whole conversation. You just need to absorb a small part of real English and let your brain connect sound, meaning, and emotion, all at once. This kind of repetition creates deep learning. You're no longer just reading or listening, you're experiencing the language. Let's make it practical. Here's a simple way to use visual repetition every day. Pick a short video or scene you enjoy. Watch it once for fun. Watch again with subtitles. Repeat key sentences out loud. Shadow the speaker. Speak along with the video. Turn off subtitles and watch again. Try saying the lines from memory. You can do all of this in 10 minutes. If you do it every day, your brain starts picking up rhythm, pronunciation, sentence patterns, and everyday expressions, without stress, without memorization. Now, let me tell you a quick story about one of our listeners, Sophia. She's from Argentina, and for a long time she struggled with speaking English naturally. She could write well, and she understood a lot, but when it came to speaking, she felt stuck. She told me, "Ben, I know the words, but they don't come out right when I speak." I suggested she try visual repetition. Every morning, she picked a 30-second video from a comedy show she liked. She watched it once, then again with subtitles, then repeated the lines aloud. After 2 weeks, she sent me a message. "Ben, something amazing happened. I was talking to a coworker in English, and I used a phrase from one of the videos, without even thinking. It just came out, and he understood me perfectly." That's the power of this habit. You're not forcing yourself to speak. You're training your brain to respond automatically, naturally, without translation. Another listener, Arun from India, told me he used this method with scenes from Marvel movies. He said it helped him with pronunciation, especially those tricky reductions like gonna, wanna, and gotta. Because when you hear them over and over, and you say them with the actor, they become part of your speech. You can do the same. Visual repetition is a habit. The more often you do it, the more fluent you become. Not by studying more, but by engaging more with real English. So I want to challenge you today. Choose one short video, just 30 seconds. Watch it 5 times. Use subtitles once or twice. Speak with it. Say 1 or 2 lines out loud. Feel the rhythm. Feel the sound. And most of all, have fun with it. Remember, fluency doesn't come from stress. It comes from connection, from repetition with meaning. From building habits that make English part of your daily life. And this is one of the best habits you can develop. Let's keep going. In the next part, we'll look at a technique that makes your speaking even more natural, especially when you want to sound more confident in conversations. But for now, keep that momentum going. Watch, repeat, speak, And let English become something you feel, not just something you study. Let's keep going, because what we're building here is more than just a study routine, it's a new relationship with the English language. And that brings us to Habit 3, one of the most powerful tools you already have, but might not be using yet. I'm talking about talking to yourself in English. Yes, you heard that right. You don't need a partner. You don't need a teacher. You don't even need a native speaker. You can build fluency anytime, anywhere, just by talking to yourself. And it's not silly. In fact, it's exactly what the best learners do. Let me show you why it works and how to make it a part of your daily life. Think about it this way. If you're learning to play an instrument, you don't wait until you're in a concert to practice. You play a little each day. You try new melodies. You explore. It's the same with English. Speaking to yourself is like mental training for fluency. You're practicing vocabulary, building confidence, and creating real sentences in your head and out loud, without fear of judgment. That's what makes it so powerful. Let me tell you a story. There's a guy named Kenji from Japan. He used to listen to podcasts and watch TV shows in English, but he never spoke out loud. When I asked him why, he said, "Because I don't have anyone to talk to." But that's not really true. He has the best conversation partner in the world, himself. So I gave him a challenge. Talk to yourself in English for 5 minutes every day. No script, no pressure. Just speak. Describe what you're doing. Talk about your day. Ask yourself questions and answer them. He looked confused at first. Won't that feel weird? Yes, at the beginning it does. But just like riding a bike, you get used to it quickly. 2 weeks later, he sent me a voice message. "Ben, I was in the kitchen making coffee, and I said out loud, 'I'm making coffee. It smells great. I need sugar.' I didn't even plan it. It just came out. And I felt good." That's exactly what this habit creates. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to speak, and you start living in English, even when no one's around. So how can you do it? Start simple. When you wake up in the morning, describe what you're doing in English. "I'm getting up now. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm hungry." It might sound too easy, but your brain starts hearing those phrases again and again. They become automatic. You're not translating, you're thinking in English. Later, you can expand it. Maybe you talk about your plans. "Today, I have a meeting at 10. I need to finish my report. Then, I'll go to the gym." Or reflect on your day. "Today was a good day. I felt more confident. I spoke to my manager in English, and she understood everything I said." You can even pretend to have conversations. Ask yourself, "What would I say if someone asked me about my job?" Then answer in English. "Well, I work in customer service. I help people solve problems. It can be stressful, but I enjoy talking to people." It's like rehearsing for real life. And every time you do it, you prepare your brain for real conversations in the future. You don't need to do this for hours. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. And the best part? You can do it anywhere. While cooking, walking, driving, even in the shower. Of course, You don't have to say everything out loud. Sometimes you can just think in English, but when you do speak, you activate your mouth and your brain together. And that's what improves fluency the fastest. Another learner I worked with, Marta from Poland, took this to the next level. She started recording herself speaking every morning. Not to post it online, just to track her progress. At first, she was nervous. She said, "I don't like my voice in English." But after a few weeks, she listened to an old recording and was shocked. "I sound more natural now. I use better words. I'm not afraid anymore." That's the power of habit. This is not about being perfect. It's about building the muscle of speaking. Every time you talk to yourself in English, you're telling your brain, "This is who I am. I'm someone who speaks English." You're changing your identity, quietly, consistently, day by day. So let me give you a little framework to follow if you want to start this habit today. Step 1. Choose a moment. Morning is great, but any time works. Just make it a routine. Step 2. Set a timer. Start with 3 to 5 minutes. Step 3. Talk about something real. What you're doing, how you feel, what happened yesterday, what you plan to do. Keep it natural. Step 4. Don't worry about mistakes. This is your time. No one's listening. You're building fluency, not passing a test. Step 5. Smile. Yes, smile while speaking. It changes your voice and helps you feel more relaxed. If you do this every day for 1 week, you'll notice a shift. Your words will come more easily. You'll stop hesitating as much. And when it's time to speak to someone else, your brain will already be warmed up. I want you to think of this habit like going to the gym, but for your English voice. And the more you do it, the stronger that voice becomes. So, starting today, try it. Talk to yourself. In the morning. On a walk. Before bed. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Give yourself permission. You're not a beginner anymore. You're building real habits now. And I'll be here with you as we keep going. In the next habit, I'll share something that many learners overlook, but it can completely change how you speak and think in English. For now, keep talking. Keep practicing. You're doing better than you think. Now that you've started talking to yourself in English, even just a few minutes a day, you've probably noticed something interesting. The more you say things out loud, the more aware you become of what you can say and what you can't say yet. That awareness is good. It's a sign that your brain is starting to organize the language in a deeper way. But here's the next step. You have to practice the right kind of phrases, the kind that real people use in real life. Not textbook sentences. Not artificial dialogue. I mean the everyday, natural English that people actually speak. Let me explain why this matters. When most learners memorize vocabulary, they focus on individual words. For example, they learn the word appointment or busy, but they don't always know how those words are used in real conversations. So they might say something like, "Today I have appointment with doctor." You can understand it, but it's not quite natural. A native speaker would say, "I've got a doctor's appointment today," or "I'm seeing the doctor later today." Can you feel the difference? It's smoother. It flows. And it's not about using hard vocabulary, it's about using the phrases that people say every day. So, this habit is all about speaking in full, real-life phrases, out loud, every single day. Let's go back to Kenji, the learner from Japan we talked about earlier. After he started talking to himself in English, I noticed he was saying things like, "I want go restaurant." So I gave him a simple tip. Repeat full, natural phrases every day, like a mini workout for your mouth. He picked 3 phrases and practiced them every morning. "I feel like eating out tonight." "Do you want to grab dinner later?" "Let's try that new place on the corner." After a week, he didn't have to think about them. They just came out naturally. That's the goal. If you've ever learned music or martial arts, you know the importance of repetition. Not just repeating anything, but repeating the right things. Things that build fluency. That's what these real-life phrases are. So how do you build this habit? First, make a list of useful everyday expressions in English. Things like, "I'm running late." "I'm not sure yet." "Let me think about it." "Sounds good to me." "I'm looking forward to it." You don't need hundreds of phrases. Just start with 10 or 20. Focus on the ones that match your life, phrases you would actually use. Then, every day, take 5 minutes to speak those phrases out loud. Slowly at first. Then, naturally. Repeat them as if you were speaking to a friend. You can even imagine different situations. Let's say you're planning a trip. Practice saying, "I booked a flight for next week." "We're staying at a hotel downtown." "Do you know any good restaurants around there?" Or maybe you're preparing for a job interview. Say, "I've been working in marketing for 5 years. I'm really passionate about helping people. One of my strengths is communication." Speak these out loud until they become part of your natural rhythm. Now, here's the magic part. When you speak these real-life phrases every day, your brain starts to recognize the patterns. It builds confidence. And soon, when you're in a real situation, talking to a coworker, meeting someone new, making a phone call, those same phrases come out automatically. That's what fluency feels like. Not perfect grammar, not complex vocabulary, just being able to express yourself naturally without thinking too much. There's another benefit too. When you repeat natural phrases out loud, you also improve your intonation and pronunciation without needing a special accent coach. You're hearing how the language flows, and your mouth starts to mimic that rhythm. Remember Marta from Poland? She told me she used to feel stiff when she spoke English, like she was reading from a textbook. But when she started practicing real-life phrases out loud, every morning in front of the mirror, everything changed. She said, "It was like I could finally hear myself speaking English, not as a student, but as someone who actually uses it." Seat. And now, people at her job in Germany often ask, "Where did you learn to speak so naturally?" So, what I want you to do right now, after this episode, is choose just 3 phrases. 3 sentences that you might use in a normal conversation. Practice them today. Say them out loud at least 5 times each. Tomorrow, do it again. You can add new phrases little by little. But don't rush. This isn't about quantity. It's about repetition and confidence. That's how fluency is built, one natural phrase at a time. Let me give you a few categories to inspire you. Daily routines. I need to get ready for work. I'll grab a coffee on the way. Let's meet up after lunch. Social English. How have you been? That sounds interesting. I totally agree with you. Work study. I'm working on a new project. Let's schedule a meeting. Can you explain that again? Write them down. Practice them. Speak them out loud. And soon, they'll become part of your English personality. This habit is all about taking English from your head and bringing it to your mouth with confidence. So every time you talk to yourself or to someone else, you'll feel more natural, more ready, more like yourself. And trust me, when you get to that point, speaking English won't feel like a performance anymore. It'll feel like living. One thing I've noticed over the years is that learners who improve the fastest usually have something in common. They don't treat English as just a subject to study. They treat it like a tool for expressing real emotions, and that changes everything. See, the brain remembers things better when there's emotion attached. When you're bored or disconnected, it's hard to retain new words or grammar. But if something makes you laugh, or surprises you, or frustrates you a little, your brain says, "This matters. I'll keep it." Let's go back to Kenji, our friend from Japan. A few months into his practice, he was doing all the right things, talking to himself, repeating real phrases out loud, listening every day. But he still felt a little stuck. His words were improving, but his energy in English felt flat. So I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you laughed in English? He paused, thought for a moment, then said, I don't know. Maybe never. That's when I introduced him to a new idea. Start connecting English to real feelings, not just translations. Watch comedy in English. Read a story that makes you feel something. Or even talk about your own day and your own opinions in English. So we changed his daily practice. Instead of just repeating phrases, he had to tell me one thing that made him laugh, made him angry, or made him curious, every day in English. He'd say things like, "Today, my coworker spilled coffee on his laptop. I shouldn't laugh, but it was kind of funny." Or, "I saw a video of a dog dancing, and I watched it 3 times. It made me so happy." These little moments started changing how he felt when he spoke English. Suddenly, the language had flavor. It wasn't just neutral. It was real. That's the secret of this habit. You have to bring your real life into your English practice. Don't separate your emotions from the language. Connect them. Let me show you how this works in your daily life. Let's say you're walking home and it starts raining. Instead of thinking in your native language, say to yourself in English, "Ugh, I forgot my umbrella. This weather's the worst." Or maybe you see a beautiful sunset. Say, "Wow, look at that sky. It's so peaceful." If you feel nervous about an exam or a meeting, say, "I'm feeling a little anxious right now. I hope it goes well." These sentences are simple, but they're powerful, because they're real. They come from you. When Marta from Poland started doing this, she told me it was like opening a door. Suddenly, English wasn't just something she studied. It became something she lived. She would journal every night in English, writing about how her day went, how she felt, what surprised her. And it helped her speak with more freedom, because she was no longer trying to be perfect. She was just trying to be honest. That's what I want for you, too. You don't need dramatic stories. Just start small. When something happens in your day, good or bad, try to react in English. Out loud, or in your head. Use simple sentences. And don't worry about mistakes. The goal here is emotional connection, not perfection. You can even create a mini ritual. Every evening, ask yourself in English, what was the best part of my day? What surprised me today? What do I wish had gone differently? Answer in your own words. Don't try to sound impressive. Just be real. This kind of reflection does two things. It gives you new vocabulary connected to your life, and it makes English a part of your emotional world. That's what builds fluency, not just the language itself, but your relationship with it. Let me tell you a quick story about Daniel, a learner from Brazil. He used to struggle with confidence. His vocabulary was good, his grammar was fine, but every time he spoke, he sounded robotic, like he was reading from a textbook. One day, I asked him to tell me a story about his childhood, just something funny or emotional. At first, he hesitated, but then he shared a memory about getting lost at the beach as a kid, and how his parents ran around in a panic looking for him. His voice changed. His face lit up. He started using gestures, emotions, even pauses, and I told him afterward, "That's the most fluent English I've ever heard from you." Because it was alive. It was connected to a real emotion. So here's the habit. Don't keep English at a distance. Pull it into your heart. Use it to say how you feel, what you think, what you love, what annoys you. And you'll notice something amazing. English won't feel like a foreign language anymore. It'll feel like your language, your tool. Your voice. That's what fluency really is. Not perfect grammar, not native-level vocabulary, but the ability to express your real self in English without fear. And it starts with something simple. Speak about your emotions, your day, your life, out loud, every day. Even if it's just, "I'm tired today." "I'm excited about the weekend." "I miss my friends." That's real English. That's your English. If there's one thing that brings all successful learners together, it's not talent, and it's definitely not perfection. It's consistency. Kenji, for example, never tried to memorize long word lists. He never spent hours each day trying to master grammar rules. But you know what he did do? He showed up every single day. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. A podcast while walking, a quick reflection in the mirror, and over time, it added up. His progress didn't explode overnight, but it never stopped. And that's what matters. Marta was the same. Her journal entries were often simple. Today, I was tired. I had pizza for lunch. My cat slept on my keyboard again. But she wrote them, in English. Every day, no skipping, no excuses. And because of that, her confidence started to grow, not just in speaking, but in thinking, reacting, and feeling in English. I think we often fall into the trap of all or nothing. Like, if I don't have an hour, it's not worth it. Or, if I can't speak like a native, why even try? But that mindset is dangerous, because perfection is an illusion, and chasing it will only lead to burnout. Real progress doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from showing up regularly, even when you don't feel ready, even when your grammar is messy, even when your accent feels strong, even when your vocabulary feels limited. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once for 3 hours and expect clean teeth forever. You do it twice a day, every day, because it's a small habit that keeps things moving in the right direction. English is the same. Let me give you a practical example. Daniel used to set unrealistic goals. I'll study 2 hours a day. But of course, life got in the way. He missed 1 day, then 2, then stopped for a week. When he restarted, we did something different. We said, just do 5 minutes. That's it. At first, it sounded too easy, but 5 minutes is enough to build momentum. And when it becomes a habit, it often grows naturally. You start with 5, and sometimes you keep going for 10 or 15 without even noticing. But even if you only do 5, that's enough, because you didn't skip. You didn't break the chain. You're still in motion. So here's the key. Make your English practice so small, so easy, that it's impossible to say no. Listen to one short podcast episode. Watch a YouTube clip with subtitles. Repeat 5 real English phrases out loud. Say 3 sentences in English about your day. That's it. Small wins build confidence, and confidence builds consistency. And remember, language learning is not linear. Some days you'll feel great. Other days you'll feel stuck. That's normal. What matters is what you do on the hard days. If you only practice on the good days, you'll move slowly. But if you show up even on the messy days, the tired days, the distracted days, you'll build something powerful. Discipline. Kenji told me once, sometimes I don't know if I'm improving, but I just keep going. And guess what? He was improving, just not always in ways he could measure right away. Language growth is often invisible until it suddenly isn't. You hear a phrase and understand it without thinking. You speak without translating. You joke in English for the first time. And all of it feels natural, not because of a magical method, but because of consistent effort, day after day. So here's what I want you to do. Start tracking your habit. Not your perfection, not your accuracy, just your consistency. Use a calendar, a notebook, an app, anything. Each day you practice, even for 2 minutes. Mark it. Give yourself credit. You're not building a perfect version of yourself. You're building a consistent practice, a rhythm, a habit that becomes part of your identity. Because in the end, fluency isn't about being the best. It's about being the one who doesn't stop. You don't need to study for hours. You don't need to sound like a native. You don't need to memorize every grammar rule. You just need to keep going, step by step, word by word, day by day. And that's what Kenji, Marta, and Daniel all discovered. They didn't have magic. They just kept showing up, even when it wasn't perfect. So now it's your turn. Build that consistency. Speak a little every day. Listen a little every day. Think a little every day. And never, ever stop. There's something powerful that happens when you stop seeing English as a subject and start seeing it as part of your identity. That shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, through experiences, emotions, and small wins that connect you more and more with the language. And that's exactly what began to happen with Kenji, Marta, and Daniel. For Kenji, it started when he found himself thinking in English without trying. One day, he was biking to work, and the phrase popped into his head, "I should stop by the store after work." And it wasn't planned. It wasn't part of his practice session. It was just a natural thought in English. That moment changed something. English wasn't just a tool anymore. It was his voice, just in another language. Marta felt it too. She'd always written her thoughts in her native language. But after a few months of journaling in English, something shifted. She began writing personal reflections in English without realizing it. Emotional ones. Honest ones. That's when she understood. English wasn't just for ordering coffee or passing a test. It was becoming a language of her inner world. And Daniel? His shift came during a phone call. A customer from Canada called his company, and there was no time to prepare. No script. No chance to ask for help. And guess what? He did it. He explained everything clearly, answered questions, even made a joke. And when he hung up, he smiled. Not because it was perfect, but because he'd felt like himself, in English. See, here's the truth. Language becomes powerful when it becomes personal. It's not just about communication. It's about connection with others and with yourself. So how do you make English part of your identity? First, you stop dividing your life into English time and real life. Tight. Every part of your day can be a chance to connect with English naturally. Talk to yourself in English while you get ready in the morning. Describe your thoughts in English as you walk, cook, clean. React in English when something surprises you. Instead of thinking, "Now I'll study English," think, "Now I'll live my life," with English included. And it's not just about speaking or listening, it's also about what you enjoy. Do you love music? Then let English be your language of music. Love journaling? Write your emotions in English. Enjoy movies? Watch them, not just for language, but for the experience. This is how English becomes not something you study, but something you live. Another powerful way to shift your identity is through your environment. Who do you follow on social media? Are they people who speak English? Are you surrounded, digitally or physically, by people using English naturally? Daniel once said, "I stopped following content in my native language. Not because I don't love it, but because I wanted English to feel normal." And it worked. His feed became filled with English voices, expressions, jokes, and thoughts. It wasn't a class. It was just life, but in English. Kenji did something similar. He changed the language on all his devices, his phone, laptop, even his GPS. Every time he checked the time or opened an app, it was English. Small details. But they added up. They reminded him, this is the language I live in now. 2. Now, none of this means giving up your native language. Not at all. It means allowing English to become another layer of who you are. Another way to express yourself. Another part of your identity. Because identity matters. When you see yourself as someone who speaks English, your actions follow. You start using English more naturally. You become less afraid of mistakes. You trust yourself more. And you stop asking, am I fluent yet? And start asking, how can I express this version of me in English? That's when the real growth happens. Not just in vocabulary or grammar, but in connection, in confidence, in comfort. Marta once shared something beautiful with me. She said, when I speak English now, I feel like I'm meeting a different part of myself. Not better, not worse, just another version of me. That's what I want for you too. Because fluency isn't just about how fast you speak. It's about how free you feel when you speak. Free to share your ideas. Free to connect. Free to make mistakes. Free to laugh, cry, explore, and be you in English. So here's what I want you to remember as we wrap up this journey together. Fluency is not a destination. It's a way of living. And the 7 habits we've explored are not a checklist. They're a mindset, a lifestyle, a path to making English something that grows with you, day after day. Let's go back to the beginning. Kenji started with small phrases and simple conversations. Marta started with quiet thoughts in a notebook. Daniel started with short, frustrated attempts at speaking. But now, English is a part of them. Not something they do, something they are. And that can be true for you too. No matter your level, no matter your age, no matter how many times you've tried before. Because every moment you choose to engage with English, you're building that identity. You're becoming someone who communicates, who connects, who grows in English. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You don't have to know everything. You just have to keep learning, and you don't have to wait. You can start living your life in English today. Not just to pass a test, not just to impress others, but to discover new parts of yourself, to open new doors, to feel more like you in a language that connects you to the world. So go ahead, live in English. Think in English. Feel in English. Because fluency isn't about being someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are, in a new language that belongs to you now. Thanks for spending this time with me here at the English Talk community. If you've made it this far, I know one thing about you. You're serious about your English journey. And that's something worth celebrating. But don't stop here. The habits you just learned aren't just ideas. They're daily actions. And the more consistent you are, the more English becomes natural, automatic, and part of who you are. So here's your next step. Choose one habit from today and apply it right now. Just one. Maybe you'll talk to yourself in English for 5 minutes. Maybe you'll change your phone's language. Maybe you'll describe your morning routine out loud. Whatever it is, start today. And if this episode helped you, help us help more learners. Subscribe to the English Talk community. Leave a like, it helps more people find this content, and drop a comment. What habit are you going to try first? Remember, fluency doesn't come from watching one video. It comes from choosing, every day, to live with English. And you never have to do it alone. We're here to walk with you, every step of the way. See you in the next episode. Keep going. Keep growing. And keep speaking English with confidence.